Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Parkinson's Disease Education Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about glutathione and how, as a natural antioxidant, glutathione may be worth your while to look into as a supplement to treating the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. But be sure to stick around to the end of the episode to make sure that it is worth your while to look into exploring that more, because we're going to be talking about some of the clinical research that's gone into looking into the effects of glutathione as a supplement to help with Parkinson's disease symptoms. I'd also like you to be able to find a resource to be able to obtain those supplements if you are interested in trying them. So without further ado, we're going to go into the episode. Cue music in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Parkinson's Disease Education Show, where we demystify the disease and empower you as the person with Parkinson's disease to reach your true potential. The content contained on this show is for informational purposes only and is not meant to be a replacement for information or advice that you receive from your in-person medical or therapy professionals. If you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing, and for an even more personalized experience, please ask us about our memberships. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. All right, so a little bit about glutathione. We need to introduce glutathione just a little bit. Glutathione is the most common name for this compound or this molecule, but it actually has a couple of different abbreviations or names that I want you to become familiar with, so that if you're researching this, you can find it and recognize it when you see it. So first of all, glutathione you'll often see abbreviated as GSH. That doesn't really sound like it should. GSH doesn't really sound like it would go along with glutathione, but I'll explain why in just a second. So the full name of glutathione, I wrote it down so I could make sure I got this right without having to look back and forth. It's gamma-L-glutamyl L-cysteinylglycine. That's a mouthful. It's not really important to know what all that means chemically or anything else, but just know that there's basically three names in there, and those are each of the three peptides in the tripeptide of glutathione. Now, GSH, going back to that, I'm going to put a picture of the chemical structure here on the screen so that you can see what it looks like. And you'll notice at the very top of that molecule is a structure coming off of it that's abbreviated SH. SH is actually the chemical designation for the amino acid cysteine. So that is the cysteine structure in that long name we just read off. So there's gamma, there's glutamyl, all that. Basically, they just decided to abbreviate that G and then SH. So now you know where it came from. You probably didn't want to know all that, but I told you anyway. What can I say except you're welcome? Anyway, so now that we've gotten that out of the way though, just going back to the original point, glutathione is a natural antioxidant. So as we've discussed in previous episodes about antioxidants, the antioxidants basically search out and destroy reactive oxygen species through redox reactions, basically taking hydrogens and being able to put those hydrogens onto these free radicals to neutralize that oxidative stress. So what's really interesting is the research has shown that GSH or glutathione is reduced in those with Parkinson's disease. As a matter of fact, it's reduced in early stages of Parkinson's disease. So, it may in the future maybe even be considered a biomarker for looking deeper into seeing if the person has Parkinson's disease. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen, but the study I'm referring to is the most recent and famous one is a study that was done in 2015 by Dr. Lori Mishley et al. Dr. Mishley is a naturopath or an ND, but as an ND, she's actually pretty well known in the Parkinson's world because she specializes in helping persons with Parkinson's through naturopathic remedies. For those of you who haven't looked into Dr. Lori Mishley's work, I do highly recommend it, and I'm going to put a link up here in the top right-hand corner of the screen so that you can look her up. She has a so-called Parkinson's School, which is basically like a course, but she's got all kind of other information on her website, so do check that out. So what did they find in the study? Well, it was a randomized controlled trial, and they looked at two groups, a placebo group and a group that received high-dose glutathione intranasally. So this is something I thought was interesting, is that in the study they used nasal spray versions of glutathione, which if you spray something in the nose, it's going to be absorbed into the bloodstream through the nasal mucosa, if it's a drug. And so it gets into the bloodstream, honestly, a lot quicker than it does when you're trying to take a capsule or a tablet and digest it. That takes way longer, and you lose a lot of bioavailable product, or in other words, you lose a lot of the chemical you're trying to put in, or drug you're trying to put in the body because of the process of digestion. And so going back to kind of biology 101, or I guess maybe it's anatomy and physiology 101, whatever you consume, whether it's the food you eat, the drugs you put in your body, they have to not only get absorbed into the bloodstream through the digestive tract, but they have to go through the liver and get processed. So with drugs, you often find what's called the first pass effect, which is where you have sometimes a drastic reduction in the amount of whatever substance it is when it comes out the other side of the liver after being processed. Basically what I'm saying is, if you take oral glutathione, even if you're taking the recommended dose, you might not be getting as much as you think you are. But based on the reviews I've seen online from people that are taking glutathione as a supplement, they really enjoy taking it. Now, not all the people I'm talking about, I'm not sure if they have Parkinson's disease or not, but that's where I'd like you to weigh in as the supporters of the channel, is to let me know in the comments. Please tell me your experiences as persons with Parkinson's taking glutathione, and if it has made a difference for you or not. But anyway, back to the study. The results were interesting, to say the least. What's really intriguing to me, and in a way baffling, is that the placebo group actually made improvements as well as the group that received the high-dose glutathione, which Dr. Mishley and colleagues basically said, we need to research why that happened. In the group that actually received this supplement, they noticed total UPDRS score and specifically motor UPDRS scores improve. So if you recall from our previous video, we talked about the Universal Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale, and it has several tiers. There's motor, cognitive, etc. And so they noted improvements in that, specifically in the motor scores. Further into recommendations, Dr. Rachel Dolan, who is with the Michael J. Fox Foundation, she talked about the results of this particular study we're discussing, and essentially said the same thing, that further research is needed. However, it's not going to hurt taking it to help your symptoms of Parkinson's disease, because even as we've discussed with other supplements, creatine, CoQ10, etc., it may not specifically help some of the Parkinson's symptoms. If it does, great. But if it doesn't, it's an antioxidant, and it's going to be good for you and your entire body and your whole health overall, because oxidative stress wreaks havoc in all kinds of parts of the body. So although I can't narrow it down by diagnosis, a vast majority of the reviewers of glutathione, for example on Amazon, say that it's really helped them with energy levels and to feel better overall with their health. Now, how much of that is placebo effect? Who knows? But again, who cares? If you feel better, fantastic. By the way, placebo effect has kind of a negative connotation to it, because people think, well, that's fake, it doesn't matter. But it actually does matter. Placebo effect, or actual effect, if it psychologically and or physically makes you feel better, that's going to reduce stress levels. Stress, whether it's psychological stress or physical stress, that's going to cause Parkinson's symptoms to get worse. And physical and mental stress, etc., cause oxidative stress, because it stresses the body and free radicals are released. So all this to say that even placebo effect can be positive. So don't discount the fact that it may or may not work. Just try it. It doesn't hurt to try it. So I mentioned Amazon. There's a link in the description, as well as a link I'm going to put above, to a particular brand, Now. Now makes supplements and vitamins. In fact, my wife and I take Now's version of vitamin D, But that particular brand is one of the most highly rated on Amazon. And there's a couple of different versions where you can get more or less capsules essentially. The now version is the 500 milligram or 5 gram doses. With any supplement we talked about on the channel, I'm not prescribing a particular dose. I would say just do as directed on the bottle, and or consult with a physician or somebody like Dr. Mishley, who's a naturopathic physician, somebody who might be able to guide you a little bit and make sure that there's not going to be toxicity with anything you're taking. Certainly what we are talking about on the channel is not meant to be a prescription, just a suggestion and something for you to explore on your own and do more research on. I feel like glutathione is talked about a lot in the Parkinson's community, and I'm disappointed slightly that there's not more research behind this, but I am happy that within the last 9 years, or within 10 years I should say, we've had some research, and there is cause for more research based on the positive results that they did find in the study that we have. Anyway, like I said before, leave your comments. If you're taking glutathione, did it help you? Did it not help you? Did you quit? Did you have a bad reaction? Whatever. That's going to help me and everybody else watching and listening to understand whether they should try it or not. So thank you in advance for your input. And as always, thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode where we talk about another supplement, something that could potentially help you in your journey living with Parkinson's. Thanks for being here.